All right. I think I'm going to be killed. Brandon Sanderson. Okay. Okay. Is a big name in the realms of fantasy and writing right now. Really big. And his fourth book for the Words of Radiance. No, not Words of Radiance. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm a little stressed, okay? It's Stormlight Archive. Good, go back. Stormlight Archive, book 4's coming out. So, we at the pond are going to do something fun. We're going to review the entire book series until coming up to the newest one. A whole lot of fans are going to kill me. I'm going to have to armor up my door for a sec. Cue the music. Okay. I reinforced the basement doors with steel. And padlocked and locked. Okay. This is Bullfrog and the Newt. Face reveal at 100,000 subscribers. I could have said one and only, but the stress of it, those fans. If you want to talk about Brandon Sanderson and also the Stormlight Archive, which I've been looking forward to, I mean, we're going to release one video a month until the latest book, and then I'm going to review the book in another month as well. This is a big thing. And to talk about the books and the characters, you have to talk about the book cover, believe it or not. For those of you who don't know, you have to understand a little bit about book covers. Look how big his name is. That is the level of trust he has with his readers. It says Brandon Sanderson, the first thing you say. You go, oh, it's a Sanderson. I know what I'm looking for. That is the level of dedication and trust he has with readers, with people who like books. That is a power that's a power that Stephen King has, people. It just says Stephen King before the title. And Way of Kings, Stormlight Archive. Whew, this is a big book, as you can tell. I mean, on Audible, this is like 36 hours. Of course, because of my job, I can go through that in a couple of days. But this world he made is very unique, very different. Because it's a world ruled by hurricanes. And it's not just simple hurricanes that Florida knows about. I love you, Florida, by the way. It's not those simple things. Actually, it is worse. These things are epic. They are huge, and they're mathematical. I mean, this is like based around the age of knights almost, and yet they can mathematically pinpoint when another hurricane's going to come. It's that weekly or daily. So the whole world has evolved to where plants can recede and come out. That animals are not like animals. These things are more like crustaceans in sea. Parts of the world, a lot of parts, are ruled by a form of, what is the word, Newt? Hierarchy, that's the word. Yeah. The hierarchy is interesting. It's based on eye color. The brighter your eye, the better you are. The darker the eye, the poorer you will be, in the sense of the caste system. So that alone is a little bit interesting, but yet unique. So you learn about the world and the fact the first book has to set up all of this. And Sanderson is a behemoth. He got away with doing 3 different prologues in this one book. Do you know how many people who can get away with that? Really? And the mechanics of the book. I mean, I haven't talked about the story yet, but it's just so interesting. A world ruled by constant hurricanes. The way how Sanderson has built this trust. You hear that? they're leading up a bit. Whew, I feel a bit more safe. Almost. But that's beside the point. The thing is that he has to establish that there's a weird mythology going on with this world, and we don't know about it. So he has to introduce us to that. So he's in 3 prologues, he's introducing the world. He's introducing a mythology. He's introducing to us a level of strangeness. There's one more thing else, and that is the Spren, these spirit-like creatures. There's those bound to emotions and those bound to the elements of nature. So you can't play a poker game, people. I got a good hand. Glory Spren come up. Oh, crap. I got me a good hand. Proud Spren comes up. Dang it. I have a bad hand. Depression Spren come up. Oh, come on. A guy could be drunk and going, is that drunk Spren I see? Or is that me being drunk? No, sir, you're not being drunk. Really? You see him too? Uh-huh. How can you know? I'm also drunk. So these Spren are everywhere. And in the most important day of the book happened back in the past. Rewind 7 or 8 years ago to a day where I don't know the name of the country, people. Authors like to mess up and make tongue twister of names. I know, I'm one of them. But this nation is about to do a peace treaty with this people they just barely met, the Parshendi. And, well, on the day where this treaty is signed, too many things are happening at once. So much so that the prologue in each and every book for this whole series talks about one person's perspective of that night. Wow. What happened? What's going on? Why? On the day that they signed the peace accords, the Parshendi hire an assassin to kill the king. And thus, everyone's like, what the heck? And what happens? War. 7 years later, we get today. And we meet a cast of characters. From the one and only Kaladin, a man who once was a warrior, a spearman, the best of the best, is now sold as a slave. Sent to his high prince's camp to do bridge runs, where he and a bunch of men are vulnerable to arrows. It's almost like they're one of the first people that get shot, basically. It's not the cavalry, it's not the footmen. These guys are the first to go. And he's going to be among them, carrying these huge bridges across this place called the Shattered Plains, where there's basically plates in this great canyon in between each and every one. Humanity, we need bridges to pass. The Parshendi, just get a running start, jump, boom. Ha ha! Humans, Michael Jordan has nothing on us. Ha ha! And there's Kaladin's deal, going from a warrior to a slave, and then his drive to survive. You have Shallan, a secluded daughter of a high family who hasn't experienced the world. She's been cooped up in her house. She hasn't experienced anything outside of her estate. She is going to have to go up to the sister of the High King of Kaladin's kingdom. And she has to get her way in good graces with that high princess. And secrets shadow her. And then, all right, people, be prepared for rock and roll. I'm looking at you, Newt. Because there's the big rock and roll himself, the man that needs no introduction but through rock music, Dalinar. And it's true, people. This man's chapters are the best. Kaladin is good. Kaladin's story is really good. But Dalinar, anytime I have to say him or this picture shows up, there has to be rock and roll. Newt may hate me on this, but he is nodding with agreement. It has to be hard rock and roll because this man is boss. His chapter alone screams, Dalinar! Every chapter he's in, I cannot help but just drink it in because it's so awesome. It's Dalinar, baby. Ooh, give him a gang sign and throw some bling on him, and then you'll be singing Dalinar again because the guy owns the page. And he is dealing with the loss of his brother, the High King. So he's trying to do his best to protect his nephew, his family, and this war. But is his mind sound now? Dalinar, please, don't fall. You're too awesome. Your name has to be sung by Led Zeppelin almost awesome. And believe me, if it's not true, readers of Brandon Sanderson, the man needs Led Zeppelin. And the book itself, the mechanics are very interesting. Because it's not just, there's parts of the book where it says whose character's perspective you're gonna get, but it has these interludes, a place in between parts, just to help you relax a bit. Give you, okay, you had a heavy enough story, so we're gonna give you a secondary story, just to relax you a bit. Then we get back to the bigger, heavier story again. Dang, this is a weightlifting book. There's a lot here, and he adds more with those interludes. And I think that's a good and bad thing. It's good to have those breathers, but yet, at the same time, you have to remember those breathers. Because suddenly they actually tie in more important to the book than you realize. Suddenly you have to reread the entire thing just to understand one little bit going, that sounds familiar. I'm in book 3. It's in book 1. Oh my gosh, this interlude here is part of this. Wow. Sanderson. Dalinar. I love that rock and roll music. Dalinar is the awesome factor of the book. But the heart and soul is Kaladin and the relationship with Sylphrena, aka Seal. And Sylphrena is following Kaladin. And they are the heart, they are the soul of the book, their relationship. Sylphrena, this light character that is full of one-liners, burns, and points that are always in her favor. I'm almost going to do a count up for each book to see how many she does. Almost. But she is trying to bring light and laughter as Kaladin is fighting depression, fighting PTSD, and dealing with stress and anxiety. And she's trying to help him up. See, she already wins you right there. And when you hear her one-liners, her beats, just trying to uplift this lonely soldier turned slave, it wins your heart. And this book is all about establishing that relationship between the two. And you really feel it. It's the heart, again, it's the soul of the books. Not just for this one, but I feel like the entire series. Because as you go through and read about them, it's just so enlightening. And as much as that is the soul of the book series, Kaladin also has another relationship bit. And that is Bridge 4. All right, people, bash me all you want, but do you know how many guys are in this thing? This is a rough sketch. It's unfinished. But hopefully by review 2 or review 3, for sure, this picture is going to be finished. There's a lot of people, and I want to do all of Bridge 4. And why this relationship of Kaladin and Bridge 4 is that it is the bones. Kaladin is really what holds the book in place more than any other character. Him and Syl is fun. Him and Bridge 4 is just as fun, but it's very unique. And in this book, it's them trying to... It's almost like that coach that has that bad basketball team that always fails. And you want to go, come on, coach, you can do it. Make this team into win state champs. And you see that, and Sanderson does it good. And it's really fun, and it's really great. And there's a whole cast of characters. There's a lot of guys you like, and a lot of guys you hate, and a lot of guys you just want to say, oh, shut up. Like what he said, oh, shut up. Because really, oh, shut up. And there's a lot of characters that make you want to say, oh, shut up. But the one in Bridge 4, Moash, oh, shut up. Really? Oh, I hate that guy. Yeah, this is the book. This is the cast of characters and the saga that each character deals with. Kaladin with Bridge 4. Shallan with Yasna. Like I said, there's a lot of names here. And like I said, Shallan and Yasna. And then you also have Dalinar interacting with his sons and his old friend that is now, things have slowly became distant. That's almost like a rival with Sadeas. There's a whole lot of people. There's a whole lot of drawings. And you're going to see this cast of characters and their interactions, but also their plots and how they're going to grow and change. And Dalinar, who's just awesome, he's dealing with all this war politics stuff, and suddenly his brother's widow comes. Yeah, saucy. Ha-ha. And that relationship between him and her, whew, somebody got a fan, because I don't know what's more steamy, Dalinar and her or Dalinar afraid of her. That's right, Dalinar, the man of rock and roll, has a little terror for her. What presence does she have? Well, read the book. And yeah, it's a lot of praise. And give me 2 more seconds. Okay, I had to double reinforce the steel, had to make sure all windows were locked up, and everything was barred. Okay. Here's some of the flaws of the book. Yes, people, there are flaws. Even our favorite authors fail. I mean, Stephen King, it's almost like a drinking game. If you drink alcohol, people, please don't play. You will die. Stephen King has his tropes, and Brandon Sanderson has his. His biggest trope is his benefit. It's a weird double-edged sword. And that is the reread. These books are meant to be reread. He leaves clues on purpose. That is brilliant and bad at the same time. I have to pay attention. I don't like doing homework for a book. I mean, y'all know how much I hate homework because of Marvel. In order to understand Endgame, I need to watch another movie and understand that movie. You have to watch another movie. For that movie, you have to watch another movie. Pretty soon, before you know it, you feel like you're going at school because you just wanted to watch one movie. And that's problem A with these books. The first read is awesome. But you realize there's some vague things you don't get it. You have to reread them, and you notice the clues. Then you reread them again. You notice more clues. And then when you're on your fourth reread, you go, I'm Sandersoned out. I need a few years to back. Sanderson is a big fan of Robert Jordan, who did Wheel of Time. And Robert Jordan really left an impulse, really inspired Sanderson, because Sanderson finished Wheel of Time. Why I'm saying this? Wheel of Time, I could only listen to that once and give me 4 or 3 years in between so I can have my sanity back. Sanderson, you're like that too. The reread is good. But, sorry, I heard a door open. Not closed. Oh, good. Oh, good. It's just that I don't want homework for a book. I mean, George R.R. Martin is almost the same way, but unlike him, it's not as obvious. For you, Sanderson, it is obvious. It's exhausting rereading your stuff. And then there's clues, and then there's other clues. He's doing a thing called the Cosmere. All of his books are connected. We're talking Elantris, Warbreaker, Mistborn, and also the sequel to Mistborn. There's a whole lot of books out there, and all these are interconnected with this one. So there's clues for this book, and there's also clues for his Cosmere. All I wanted was a book. All I wanted was a book series. When you find out about this, and you're trying to reread about it, and you're trying to find those clues for the connections, suddenly you're going, Hoyd, I had enough. That's flaw A. Flaw B is his characters. I love him a lot. And he loves creating characters that have flaws, where it's going, you like the guy, but he also has this flaw. Not a personality trait, but an actual flaw that he hinges on. So as much as you like the character, you want to slap him across the face. It's very human. I like that. However, some of his character's flaws are too big. It's like Martin, George R.R. Martin, how there's characters he made just for hatred. For the point that you want to be the guy that kills the Emperor. Or you want to see Joffrey die time and time again, along with Ramsay Bolton. Sanderson does that, but not in the good level. There's characters that he writes that he wants you to hate. Some are obvious, some are not. But that character you hate so much, it's not because of the character, it's because of the writer. Because, look, I hate Moash. I don't like him. But the character's choices in this book at the beginning is all right. But Kaladin, his flaws as a main character, gets too much for me. To the point I'm not blaming the character, I'm blaming the writer. That's not bad writing, but that's not good writing. That's just, I love you, but yet why did you do that? That's a lot in Kaladin's case, and Moash, and some other characters. And then there's the character Shallan. I love her personally. Of course, she's an artist, and I'm a big fan of art. So there could be a little bias there. But yet I understand why not that many people like her. And I'm not bending to a crowd. It's just that I don't like her because of the fact that she is such a naive character at the beginning. She's too much a child entering the world, where I know she's vulnerable. She's been secluded. And it's her opening herself to the world. She's very, very religious. And you have Yasna, who's well known to be an atheist. And these two not really butting heads, but their discussions about religion, it's in world, so they're safe, but it's also a little too, it's not preachy. It's not saying atheism is bad or religion is good. It's not that realms, but it's more the realms of the two can live together. It's way better than Paolini's discussion about this relationship. But the shadow of this relationship also, it it lags Shallan's story. I know Shallan is not to be an epic character. She's meant to be a subtle character. But yet it's kind of exhausting. It's like, okay, I get it. All right. Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's Shallan, that's Kaladin, these characters with flaws that they're good, but yet I want to blame the writer more than that character on that. Yeah, and the mechanics of the world is one thing, and this is a totally imaginative world, and it is awesome. Armor that's too big, but yet when you go on it, you're light as a feather. Swords that are big as humans, but yet when you hold and you wield them, they're light as air, and you can summon them and such. Sanderson is true to his writing style of the rule of cool. It is awesome. But yet the rule of cool can be too much at the same time. Sanderson's like a double-edged sword more than anything. He has all these awesome bits, but the awesome bits also can be too much of a negative. Your world is too imaginative. It's hard to connect sometimes. And it's interesting how you are making all these characters and these different nations. It's really fun and entertaining. But yet, I can't help but go, wait, I need to picture this again. Wait, so this guy's like this, so he must look like this. But I mix that other thing with this other guy. Oh, crap. The rule of cool is a double-edged sword. And he nicks me as much as he nicks me a few times in this. So, where would I rate this? Well, if you are new to my channel, it's rated from 1 to 7. 4 is the magic number. 4 is exactly in the middle. And 1 is basically, is a piece of crap. I mean, more than a piece of crap. I will gladly, and I mean this with no exaggeration, I will gladly sit down and watch High School Musical with my giggling nieces and them screaming and reciting each song word for word. And I'm talking all of my nieces, from the toddlers all the way up to the teens. I'll gladly endure that pain, then read that other book. Oh, and I stand by that, people. I do. That is a 1. Or a 7 is something I could reread over and over again, and the book feels new. And I feel like it never gets old, and I could just pull out whatever and still feel that connection and that magic. There's something deep and powerful in there. That's a 7. Where would I put this one? Honestly, I would give this a 6 out of 7. The character introductions of Kaladin is great. He is the heart. His interactions with Sylphrena are beautiful. Him with Bridge 4, this is the best bones. Dalinar's intro is awesome. Meeting the characters for the first time is great. The rule of cool nicks, but it's not too much. This is a 6 out of 7. I highly recommend people. And I feel like the fans are fine with that right now. 6 out of 7. I'm not going to give in to this mob, but it doesn't mean I'm not going to be hurt. Until then, here's the Bullfrog and the Newt signing out.